latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 15th. So it's a day of depressions out there right now. 2L, Tropical Depression 2, off the coast of the United States and moving off towards the northeast at a rather brisk pace. And Tropical Depression Carlos, which used to be a tropical storm, now moving unceremoniously out to sea and looking fairly dejected this evening. Day 15 of Atlantic hurricane season, and it's not just a depression that's active, and it will probably become a storm soon, by the way. A moderate chance in the Gulf of Mexico, which will probably become a high chance fairly soon. National Hurricane Center already saying so for the 5-day period. And the main development region with a 20% over there. Day 31 in the Eastern Pacific. Carlos there moving out towards the west away from harm's way. And a 10% chance late in the forecast period for a potentially probably disorganized system out along the coast of Mexico. Nothing active in the Western Pacific, so 5 storms have formed there so far this year. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing number 6 anytime soon as it gets a little bit of a break. The Indian Ocean, we're not really expecting activity here at this point now that we're in mid-June, so no areas active. We were watching signs of possible development in the northern Bay of Bengal, but that appears to have gone away. As you would expect at this time of year, it would be against the odds. So looking at the Atlantic wide shot right now, you can see everything that's going on. It's a rather different picture than when I was last doing a narration for a Tropical Weather Bulletin. Looking much more populated with activity, particularly that tropical cyclone off towards the north of the Atlantic there, and a lot of mess behind it really. The Eastern Pacific by comparison is extremely dry, and we've had to point to Carlos there because it looks so awful and miserable as it enters that massive dry air patch, and that is, hard to argue that is hard not to argue that it's even a tropical depression at this point, potentially. The Western Pacific looking fairly quiet. You can see in the tropical zones there just general little bits of thunderstorm activity and some significant convective tops over the southern Ryukyu Islands of Japan, but not much else noteworthy there in the Westpac Basin. Indian Ocean, you can see the monsoonal patterns there taking strong hold over the eastern part of India and the Bengal region, and extending over to the other side of the Bay of Bengal into the Indochina region. Some of that may be to do with Koguma and the remnants of. And this is just a little look at the Western Pacific. You can see lots of little thunderstorms dotted around, nothing organised, but I imagine that would be a pretty sight down there actually, because there's very little dots of thunderstorms along that equatorial region there. Let's take a closer look at some of our storms. So there was 2L that you saw there, and that's moving off into the night as it is now off the US East Coast. It's moving away towards the northeast. It's got a slightly exposed centre of circulation. Looking at the other system right now, this is Invest 92L, which is in the southern Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche, and as we zoom right in there, you can see that the rotation is trying to get itself together, and it's certainly becoming more established over time. There's a chance that it could develop in the southern part of the Gulf before it moves on towards the north, and that will give a lot of Cristobal vibes, I'm sure, after last year. So this is the sea surface temperatures right now. The Eastern Pacific, very warm indeed, 30 degrees plus along the coast of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico itself, 28 degrees, pretty plentiful there right now, and almost fully covering the Gulf. Anywhere where that potential storm might form, there's going to be warm temperatures. The Gulf Stream will be keeping 2L chances alive for becoming a tropical storm in the next 12 to 24 hours. Baroclinicity also an impact. This is the Indian Ocean. You can see very warm waters still there. The Western Pacific, in particular the Philippine Sea, 30 degrees plus, pushing up towards 31, 32 degrees in some areas there, and warm waters extending out quite a long way. So pretty much as you would expect in the Western Pacific right now. The South China Sea just a little bit cooler after Koguma. These are the sea surface temperature anomalies. The subtropical and the tropical zones of the Western Pacific Ocean proper, the Philippine Sea and out beyond the Marianas above average. Eastern Pacific below average, pretty much all over, apart from a little spot off Mexico. The Atlantic is trending above average now. Gulf of Mexico has bounced back a little bit as well in terms of the anomalies. On this day, June 15th, 2014, Tropical Storm Hagibis was reaching the coast of China. That's what's appearing there on the bottom right hand side. Christina was also a Category 1 and was on its way after its peak, weakening down to its demise eventually. And Nanak was mostly there. It had already devolved into a remnant low at this point on this day 7 years ago, and I'm pretty sure we would have done updates on those storms too. But back in 2021, the next name on the Atlantic naming list might be coming soon. It's Bill. In the Eastern Pacific, we're now waiting for Dolores. And in the Central Pacific, we're really waiting for Hone. In the Western Pacific, the next name on the list now is Champi, followed by Infa. In the North Indian Ocean, the next name will be Gulab, and we probably won't see that for a few months now. And as we take a look at the other basins in the Southern Hemisphere, the Australian region, Paddy's up next, the Southwest Indian Ocean, Kanga, but it's got to be quick, and in the South Pacific, the next name is Cody. We're running 24/7 automated stream on our channel during this storm event with 2L.